Hello guys, gonna be breaking down the 9-game Wednesday NBA slate. Toronto, Washington, first game at 4 p.m. This should be a very high-scoring game, and Kyle Lowry is the most appealing option. He's 7,300, a lot cheaper than the other two Raptors main guys, and it's because of his injury. He left the game, I think, at the end of the first quarter. He just didn't come back, so his price is obviously going to be down, accounting for that. So he's going to look really good. Washington, always a team I like to target. And then everyone else, I think OG, if he's in, then you really probably are going to see Powell slide back to the bench. Boucher, 5,900. I think this is a matchup that fits him. Washington has a lot of centers in Alex Len, Mo Wagner, Robin Lopez, but they're all not like post threats. And so Boucher, even though he's like a little bit smaller, thinner than those guys, he can definitely hang with them just because he's going to be able to stay one-on-one defending those guys. So I think 5,900 in this great of a matchup. He's someone who always has 40-plus point upside. So I think this is a good spot we can target him in. Hope that his price would have been cheaper, but I think it's still a good play. Washington now. I like Beal and Westbrook. I prefer Westbrook because of the savings. 8,400 for someone who can get a triple-double any night just is way too cheap. He should be probably right where Beal is in terms of price, so he's going to be one of my favorite plays. And then everyone else, because Westbrook, Beal both going to be playing this game, just not going to be playing some of these guys. Like I've talked about Bertans, but I don't think this is the matchup. And then, this is pretty much only Westbrook. So I think this game, you could possibly get Lowry and Westbrook both as core plays. And Atlanta, Dallas, again, it's the Trae Young versus Luka Doncic matchup. Price-wise, though, Atlanta, it's not really appealing. Trae, he's priced all the way up to 10K. Collins, Capella, when Capella's in, you're not going to get Collins playing center that much, especially with Okongwu now back. So, it's just hard to see Collins rebounding and block upside there. Without DeAndre Hunter, Herter, Reddish, Gallinari, they should pick up minutes and usage. Gallinari, kind of interesting though, because he obviously is the most talented offensive player out of them, and his minutes have been slightly going up now. 4,500, also the cheapest one. So if his minutes can continue to go up, then I do have some interest. If he starts, even more interest. But I think you don't really need him to start because it might be better really if he comes off the bench to stagger the usage minutes with Trae. Now Dallas side, Luka, 10.8K. He's always in play. He's just a stud. He can get you 70, 80 points any night. Atlanta, very good matchup. So he's in play. Porzingis, 8,600. I don't really play this guy when he's over 8K when Luka's healthy. I know last game he had a monster game, but that was because of the blocks. And Minnesota, their rebounding is really bad, whereas Atlanta has been a lot better with Collins and Capella now. So not really on Porzingis. I think Luka's definitely the favorite play. Everyone else, the prices seem pretty good, but the usage for these two guys are just so concentrated that there's not a whole lot left for everyone else. Now, the Indy side, I really like this team. Anytime you go up against Brooklyn, you're probably going to have a good game. And these guys are way too cheap. Even in tough matchups, these prices are cheap or right where they should be. So, in one of the better matchups, I really like Sabonis. I really like Brogdon. Both of them can get you 50, 60 plus points. So, I love them both. Brooklyn also on a back-to-back. Their defense just is not good right now. Miles Turner also am interested for tournaments. 6K, you can definitely beat him inside. There's block upside here. Fast-paced game. I really like Turner as well. And Doug McDermott, 4,800, might be the more appealing guy out of everyone else because he's just the cheapest. And the minutes for all these guys, like Holiday, is the safest in terms of the minutes, but he's not a huge usage guy. McDermott, at least he looks for his shot, 4,800. He can definitely play well, get more minutes that way. Brooklyn, maybe they sit someone out here because it's a back-to-back. But with KD out, they've lost a few of the recent games. Maybe both of them go. Kyrie has rested on some back-to-backs, so we're going to have to monitor that. If Kyrie is out, then James Harden is going to be a core play. And then you probably can get some value with Brown, TLC, depending on who they start. Charlotte's side, still without Devontae Graham, but LaMelo Ball's price is really up there, 8,500. He's got upside, so I don't think he's completely out of play, but it's tough to pay that price, especially when you got other guards who are just cheaper, Lowry, Westbrook, Brogdon, Hayward, I think he's a little bit more appealing than LaMelo because minutes-wise, Hayward's, honestly, like right there, even more sometimes. And then Rozier, he looks good as well, 6,200. He's pretty streaky, so you need him to knock down shots, but without Graham, he definitely gets the ball more. So I think Rozier, he can definitely be a good tournament play. Cody Zeller, 5,900. He's got upside. He's been playing really well. As long as he stays out of foul trouble, not a blowout, he's going to get the minutes, and they're going to need him against Joval. PJ Washington, 5,300. Very interesting for tournaments because we've seen him with 40-plus point upside, and he gets backup center minutes still. So, I don't think it's going to be a lot because for him to guard Joval, that's a tough matchup. But when Joval is off the court, definitely PJ Washington can be very productive. So I have interest in him. Memphis side, we actually saw them finally give the starters more minutes, especially Ja and Joval. So with their prices being where they are and this matchup being pretty solid, I do like Morant a lot. Joval very in play, but Joval's coming off of a monster game, so when players have such a great game, I just don't want to play them the next time. So I'm going to prefer Morant here. Melton already ruled out, and Tyus Jones, they didn't give him a lot of minutes. I think that maybe, now that Memphis has been getting back in the swing of things, they are willing to give these guys more minutes. So I think Morant can definitely be a good play. Same price as Lowry. For tournaments, I think Morant might be a little bit better than Lowry because I just think his upside is greater because Lowry, you have him sharing with Van Vliet, Siakam. And then now the Clippers side, they're going to be without Paul George, so Kawhi Leonard going to, of course, be in play at 9,400. He has monster upside when George is out. Lou Will, 5,500. He's got upside as well, but the price tag, it's not really that appealing. Reggie Jackson, same thing. It's just kind of expensive now. And Patrick Beverley also, he could be back for this game, so that's going to cut into the guards. Now, the Minnesota side, Towns doubtful, Russell is questionable. So if D'Lo is in, I'll have mild interest, but his minutes just haven't been there, and he's now had quad, leg injuries, so it's tough to really play him. If he's out, then Beasley, Edwards, Rubio, but price-wise, Rubio's kind of expensive now. If Beverley's in, that's, just makes the matchup tougher, so really not appealing for this Minnesota side. New Orleans, Chicago, New Orleans on a back-to-back, so we got to watch if they're going to rest anyone. If they do, then there's definitely going to be some plays here because Chicago, just a team that is not good defensively, and they play at one of the fastest paces in the league. Right now, price-wise, I think they're pretty much priced where they should be, so it's not going to be there's not going to be a standout play. Steven Adams, or Ingram, Zion, they are in foul trouble. Steven Adams just didn't get a lot of minutes. Josh Hart was playing really well, so I don't really want to chase that game. But obviously, if someone were to rest, then Josh Hart's probably going to benefit a lot. Steven Adams, 5,600. Sure, I think this is a very good matchup, but the upside, I kind of question it with Adams. So, great matchup, but in terms of the plays, no one really stands out. Chicago side, Zach LaVine, 9K, that's fine, but he's going to have to deal with Bledsoe, Lonzo, or some really good on-ball defenders. Kobe White, same thing, just kind of a tough matchup. New Orleans not as playing as fast as they have been. Other guys, Sato, Garrett Temple, I think they have some upside because they are cheaper than guys like Patrick Williams and Valentine, but they just don't feel like core plays right now. Cleveland, Drummond and Jarrett Allen actually both started last game, so that helped both their minutes, Drummond especially. If he's going to play 36 minutes, that's going to be very good, and they're going to need size to defend against Jokic. Obviously, that comes with foul trouble risk, but I would rather take Allen starting at power forward than him backing up Drummond because the minutes are just going to be safer. So I know some interest Drummond when he does play big minutes, which he should again if they start Allen at the 4, which it does make sense with Millsap. So I think Drummond at 8,300 just is too cheap for that. So I definitely have tournament interest in him. And, that's really much it for the Cavs side because Drummond takes up a lot of the rebounds, and then you have Allen, so it's going to hurt Sexton, Garland, Osman, or actually Okoro. He's the one that starts, so all their rebounds are just going to be down. Denver side, they're going to be without Gary Harris again, so that's going to help Monte Morris's minutes. But the lineup, they're going to start Barnes and MPJ together. I think both of them have upside. I prefer MPJ because he's coming off of the worst game of the two, and Barnes he had an amazing game. So I'd always prefer the guy who didn't have the best game, especially for tournaments. That's how you want to play it. So I like MPJ here. Murray is also in play, 7K. he's got crazy upside. So this price tag, you can definitely see him pay off. He's always just someone that's pretty low owned as well. Now, the OKC side, they're going to have 8 guys again. And if you look at the game against Minnesota, the first one, they pretty much had the same dudes except they had Muscala instead of Dort available. So you just plug that in. I would say that you probably see Dort start for Roby because they started Roby that game and they just basically played really big. So now that they don't have Moose, I think Roby can play backup center. That's probably more than what they want. They don't have to have Baisley play there. And they can also just play small, or play big rather, with Roby and Horford on the court at the same time. So I think Kendrick Williams probably starts at point. Diallo going to handle a lot. Baisley, all these guys are going to be in play because they just have only 8 players. I would say Isaiah Roby is going to be a very popular play. 3,700. He's been very productive when he's out there. And last game, or the last time that they had all these injuries with him starting with Horford, that makes me feel pretty confident that he's going to play more than just backup center minutes for Horford. They just can't afford that because they only have 8 bodies. So I like Roby. I have interest in Dort. Diallo, obviously, Horford, Baisley, just all of these guys. Now, on the Lakers side, we don't know if AD is playing. Last game, though, because they went to OT, the previous game against Detroit, they went to double OT. LeBron's been playing heavy minutes, and they discussed on the Lakers broadcast that LeBron could possibly rest. So we have to keep an eye on that. He's been against that, but we don't know. Maybe the team just decides and tries to convince LeBron to rest. So, OKC, not in a tough matchup. We can definitely see that happening. So we're going to have to monitor the situation. If one of these guys are out, like these guys, they're kind of like priced where they should be, like Kuzma. Even if AD or LeBron's out, like it's not really that appealing at 5,700. And then Wesley Matthews, he had a big game, but he's just a very low floor guy, and definitely don't play him if Caruso's going to be back. Now the Milwaukee side, Drew Holiday's out, and they started Bryn Forbes last time. So I'm not really a big fan of Forbes because he's very shot dependent. I would actually prefer VJ Augustine, even though he doesn't start. But the minutes are pretty close. Like you probably get more for Forbes because he's starting, but Augustine just has more sustainable role because he ball handles. He has a lot more assist upside. He's a little bit better of a defender than Forbes, and he's also cheaper. So I prefer Augustine actually. He's just still very cheap. And then with Giannis and Middleton, obviously they're going to look great. They're just going to get more usage with Drew out. Dante, he's going to get more ball handling opportunity. Brook Lopez, 47 prices continues to drop. So at some point, he's going to have like a 30-point game and be a good tournament play. Now on the Phoenix side, we got to wait on Chris Paul. If he's in, then I'm not going to have that much interest in Booker. I shouldn't say I don't have any at all because they're going to need all these guys to have great games against the Bucks to stay in it. If Paul is out, then Booker's going to look really good. I'm not going to be too worried about blowout because Drew's out on the other side, and Phoenix at home. Usually I don't worry about blowouts that much. And then DeAndre Ayton, he's going to look great as well. When you take out Paul, they do rely on DeAndre Ayton basically as this number 2 option. So I like him. 7,100 definitely looks too cheap if CP3 is out. McCall Bridges, 6,100 also looks really good if CP3 is out. He definitely picks up more usage as well for him. Jay Crowder, though, he's questionable, so if he's back, then that's going to knock some of these guys down, like Bridges, Cam Johnson, and maybe each one more, depending on what the lineup is. If Paul's in, obviously, don't play more. But Moore, he could definitely still be an option if CP3 misses because he's a 3-point shooter. His steals and blocks aren't sustainable because he's just not that guy. But again, the Bucks, that matchup suits 3-point shooters, so I have interest in Moore. For right now, though, I really do like the guards. Like, it is really stacked. Like, from this game alone, I really like playing Westbrook and Lowry. And then you also have John Morant. Like, you can just play these 3 guards because I think they're really underpriced. That's why I'm not going to include a guy like Kawhi or Giannis because these guys have a lot of upside as well. And you can definitely just use that savings to upgrade your other positions. And then for the, I guess you can call stud, it's a bonus. I really like him. I like Brogdon as well, but I'm trying to get more like a cash lineup, so I'm gonna go with Lowry instead of I'm gonna go with Sabonis over Brogdon because of just having one guy on the main in terms of not having like both these guys. But I think both in the same lineup, that's no problem. Play, it's going to be Isaiah Roby. He's just probably the best OKC player. Gonna play big minutes, has to. So that's going to be the core 5 right now. If you guys enjoyed the video, please hit a like before you go. subscribe to the channel. I'll leave my Twitter in the description below at BobFools. You can ask me anything on there. Always happy to help, so good luck on the slate, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.